We have so many stories in our lives, but our stories are not always heard. On the Hear My True Story podcast, we tell our own true stories.
Before the white car parked, our head teacher had scattered. Looking at him, I could only see his tie that was flying backwards, waving at us, and he disappeared in thin air.
I want to share my life story. I want to share my voice with the people because I know that just a small joke I can tell through this podcast, it will make someone smile.
When you ask me what I fear most in life, I would definitely respond to you and say it's fear itself.
We are fighting for togetherness. We are fighting for equal rights. We are fighting to end injustice.
You don't have to be a storyteller or writer because, guess what? Life writes the best stories.
Hear my true story.
So the German culture. Are you sure you don't want us to make another?
Without eating bread, what else is so? I mean, something that you when someone says Germany, what comes to your head apart from eating bread?
Bread, yes, of course. Eating bread, also not talking to other people when you're in the public transport. For me, that was a very big shock when I came to you, when I was here in the train trying to talk to people, you know.
I came to Germany and then soup was not my thing. Soup. Because it was not in our culture in Uganda. And I come here, there's soup. They bring soup at work, soup. At home, that we making soup. I was like, what is wrong with soup? I really don't want soup. Yeah. So if you are looking to Germany as your second home, learn soup, learn bread, learn not to talk to people.
Yeah.
This is your favorite time of the week with your number one podcast.
Hear my true story.
Yes, my dear listeners, welcome back again on Hear My True Story podcast this wonderful week. Well, what I can tell you, we are continuing our conversation with our previous guest. Last week, we talked much more about the power of language with our guest. This time again, we are going to talk again about the same conversation, but this time we are focusing on home. What do you call home? That's the thing. If you want to understand what home is, maybe to you as our dear listener, do you call home wherever you are living home? And what makes it to be home for you? Well, I personally am a Ugandan living right now in Germany. And I would say maybe I call German as my second home.
This week's special guest on your favorite podcast.
Hear my true story.
Anyway, I don't know what our guest thinks about that. So, my dear guest, welcome back again on Hear My True Story podcast. Can you maybe introduce yourself? Tell the dear listeners, our dear listeners, who you are. Maybe some are new on the podcast. They want to know who you are, what you do, and also what your names are. That's the thing.
Hi, my name is Carol Chiwanuka, or you can call me Carol J. Smith. Yes. I come from Uganda. I currently live in Germany, Stuttgart, and I work as a Waldorf kindergarten teacher. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Carol Chiwanuka, Carol J. Smith. What? Anyway, well, I respect, I call you what you want to be called. So what do you want to call yourself in this conversation? Do you want me to call you Carol Chiwanuka, or do you want to call you Carol J. Smith?
Call me Carol J. Smith.
Yes, my dear listeners, I'm going to call our guest this particular episode, Carol J. Smith. Sorry if I've called you the other name that you don't want to be called. Let's go on. So, my friend, Carol J. Smith, I'm happy to have you again on this wonderful podcast. Hear my true story. I want to tell you that we are really, really excited every time you come along. I mean, you get onto our podcast, you share your experiences, your stories. It means a lot for us as the podcast, but also for our dear listeners. Thank you for always sharing your moments, your stories, sharing your ideas and advices to some people who are listening to the podcast. Yes, I want to ask you a question. What is home to you, my dear friend, Carol J. Smith?
Okay. Well, I would also first say thank you for having me. I'm really thrilled and happy to be here. So what I call home, well, in my own understanding, or what I've learned is that they say that home is where your heart is home. So, for instance, if I'm here, but I don't feel like I'm at home, if I feel like I'm always missing Uganda, then that is where my home is. But if I'm here and feel contented and just sometimes miss Uganda, it means that also here in Stuttgart, Germany, it is also my other home. That is how I understand home.
Well, since you mentioned about German, and then you also mentioned about Uganda, and also saying, home is where the heart is. So my question, do you call German home?
I don't know. Let me first think. 1 minute to think.
Well, you can think about it, no problem. Maybe.
Because I think I have to first visit my heart and see what my heart says.
Okay, maybe are there some factors or experiences that could make you feel home in Germany?
Yes, right now where I'm staying in a very small apartment, shared apartment with different people. At this point, I feel like this is home. A few months ago, let's say last year, July, I'd never felt home when I was here, when I just moved in here, because it felt cold. I was always cold in here. And I never, let's say when I visited friends, I would not miss my bed. But right now I go away one day and I already miss my bed. I want to sleep in my bed. I will not sleep very comfortably in another bed, rather my bed. So I would say that yes, right now I feel a bit home, but also not 100% because sometimes I keep on missing home, like Uganda, or like I keep on wanting to visit other places. Yeah, it's confusing a little bit.
Okay, I get that. But as a person, do you have some moments or some experiences that you made here in Germany that you say, well, after such experiences, I feel home in Germany?
Yes, the place where I first lived in when I just arrived in Germany, I stayed in Wangen im Allgäu. So this is like a village, not it's like a suburb. It's a very quiet place, very few Africans. It is so when I was working there, I was neighbors with very, very good people. I was the youngest on the block and the only black one on the block. And so like down under my house or under my apartment was living a old couple. The man comes from South Africa, but a white South African, and then with a German. And opposite my house or my apartment was a lady. She's German, but these people made me feel at home. You know, when I felt sick, they always came to check on me. When anything happened, they always came, knocked on my door, left flowers on my door. They always checked on me. They always made sure that I was okay, made sure that I had something to eat. When I just came, for me, up to now, this is like my second home because these people really took very good care of me. Like they took care of me like I'm their own. You know, so this made it home for me. This made it feel so safe. It made it feel so comfortable. It made me feel like I can be myself. Wherever I go, I can always go back and I will still be treated like a princess. Yeah.
Well, that's so interesting because it makes it clear that the experiences that we make are the factors and the reason that would influence us to find our second homes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So was this the moment where you had this kind of like strong sense of belonging that, well, I feel belonging to this new place I'm in, to this new environment I moved in? Oh,
I would say that this kind of experience made it for me very easy to integrate because I felt like I was accepted by people that I did not even know. I just met them in my old age and they already accepted me. So for me, it made it for me very easy to integrate in this country, in the German country. And yeah, so wherever I went there, it became very easy for me because I felt safe in the other places that I also went to. Yeah.
yeah, okay, I get that. But that means that you also experience moments where you feel like, well, I can't take Germany as my home at the moment. If you are willing to share.
Yes. Well, the moments where people are racist to me, I feel like this will never be home to me because home is where you are accepted. Home is where you feel most safe. Yeah. So those moments where people were really, really racist to me, for instance, in that train where someone was shouting, go back to Africa, or like people wanting to speak on you, or some crazy guy wants to like literally he's spitting in your direction and screaming, go back to Africa, go back to Africa. So it made for me, so these moments always made it feel like I will never belong here. I will never feel safe here. I will never be home. But then when I get to know these new people, when I get to meet these amazing people, they make it possible for me to feel like I am home, you know? But I would say that this thing where I come from a different country with different background, it makes it for me a two-way thing that I can feel at home, but also I cannot feel at home in some moments.
Yeah. So that makes it that right now you can answer my question. If you call Germany your second home.
Yes.
Well, that's nice to hear. That's really nice to hear because it is not easy for someone to say that, well, Germany is my second home. And I understand your point when you experience racism. This is really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You can't feel home, yeah? When you're not with people who are really welcoming, it can really push you out of the place. It doesn't need to be Germany to be your home, but also it pushes you out of the society. I mean, we make experiences of discrimination at all levels. There's this small micro aggression that happens that people just don't care, but they just keep doing it, and you feel like, well, I'm not welcome in the society. I mean, also personally, I have moments when I feel like, well, I don't see Germany as my second home. Yeah. I mean, when I experience racism, when I experience discrimination, when I'm denied to get something because of my being from somewhere else. You know, German system has this situation where you come from another country. I mean, I moved here to Germany when I'm in my 30s, meaning that I came with some experience and some education background, with some qualifications, and then I'm not able to do something I like because of my country where I came from and because of the education system of the country that I came from. And then I cannot integrate into the job market. For me, that was the most breaking moment where I had to. It was difficult for me because I moved to Germany from Uganda, and in Uganda I was really doing well, but I had to move here because of my family. My wife, you know, here we decided to move to Germany and be here together. And then I leave the status that I had in Uganda. I started my education to be a teacher. I'm working in theater. I'm appearing on screens. I'm doing films. I'm running an organization in Uganda, which you know. And then like this, it's a different status. But then I moved to Germany, and all this is nothing. All the 30-year experience was nothing. That's the point when I feel like I can't live in this country. I can't be where I have to start again. Because I had to start again. I had to throw out a lot of things that I was doing and decide to do another career. And then I go to another career. I'm seen like someone who knows nothing, who's coming to just take advantage of maybe the system that is offering you that. But that was the moment when I felt real down. That was the moment when I felt like, well, I can't live in this country. But of course, had to agree that I'm now here. I'm starting from zero. It is okay. That was my experience when I felt like this cannot be home. But right now, speaking the language very well, understanding that I'm well better perceived by other people. There are people who are nice, there are people who are not nice. Then I feel home. I have a child, I have my baby, I have my little daughter here. She's happy, I'm happy. This is her home, this is my home. Yeah, that's how, at the moment, I feel like, that's the moment when I feel like Germany cannot be my home. But now, it's my home. After, letting go. There are things I had to let go. Saying now, I have to just keep on.
Enjoying this episode? Leave a review now.
Hear my true story.
I mean, everyone has mixed really bad experiences, and but at least you could manage to go through that. That is a very heartbreaking thing that you, after the studies you managed to acquire in your country, then you come to a country where you will say, okay, I want to start up my life. I want to start up new. I want to start up afresh. And this opportunity is not given it to you just because the education and everything, they are not accepting whatever you studied. So you have to start afresh, like really, really afresh. And it's like you wasted some years of your life, Because if you imagine, like, if I was like, let's say 19, came here, I wouldn't mind starting afresh, starting a career, because I had not made any career in my country before, But now you have done whatever you have done, and then you come here, you have to go back to school, that is no. But this is Germany, and unfortunately.
Unfortunately, this
the
is
bitter
Germany.
truth.
This is Germany. It's the bitter truth. Dear listeners, if you are listening, it's the bitter truth. This is when I was talking to some other German people, and I told them that, well, we migrants, we are perceived in sometimes with a negative story, but we come with a lot of resources.
Yeah.
A lot of resources that we bring to the German society, that we bring to the German employment market. Right now, there's a lot of conversation in Europe, not only in Germany, about migrants. When I'm watching TV, I see stories of migrants, and they always bring the Black African migrants.
Yeah.
And that's why they put them, that they're on the boat. And these stories, they can't tell stories, nice stories of people like you who came through a volunteer service, and now you are a qualified educator. Yeah, so I came through a volunteer service and then decided to switch the career. And the people who are doing real good stories. And this, when I see just such stories, sometimes I feel like, well, is this where I really want to be? You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I totally do.
Yeah, so sometimes
I feel like the German government also, it is in conflict with itself, with these many parties. Some parties are saying, yes, we would like the immigrants to come, but the other one is like, no, we don't want. And the truth is, German country, they have a low labor. Like the labor is very low. So they need people from different countries to come, skilled labor, or people who are willing to learn and do some certain jobs which the German natives don't want to do, like working in hospitals, working in schools, those are hard works for them. And then you come, and then they make it so difficult for you, yet you're willing to offer, you're willing to work, you're willing to start a new life, to start afresh, but then it is made difficult. It doesn't matter where you go. All the offices are making it difficult. You need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. Even when you bring all the requirements, sometimes they're not convinced. They're like, no, you need, let's say, a signature of your dead mother. of your dead father. How are you going to get that signature? Like, seriously. Oh, sometimes it is really so annoying, really.
Yeah, bureaucracy can really be so really annoying. But anyway, you mentioned about now that there are people who are saying, well, we need more workers from other countries to come to Germany. So what advice would you give to someone trying to create a sense of home in this new country, in any country? It could be Germany, maybe it could be Denmark, or it could be Sweden, it could be France, it could be England, UK, United Kingdom, What advice would you give them?
I would say that this person should know what they want, like their interests, because it is not going to be easy to just walk from one country to another. It is always difficult. Expect that anything can happen. You can be denied, you can be accepted. And also that try to meet people, exchange ideas. Also look for the people who are like also immigrants like you, because they have also ideas. They know what they have, what is, let's say, what is going on, what has been going on, They have a lot of information that can help you. Yeah. I think that is very helpful. Learn the language in case it is not a English-speaking country. If at all you can speak English or you cannot speak English, learn the language. And also, surround yourself with people where you feel comfortable with. Yeah.
And of course, understanding the culture.
Exactly. Yeah.
What would you, is there anything you can say about the German culture? What is so interesting about the German culture?
So the German culture, are you sure you don't want us to make another?
Without eating bread, what else is so, something that when someone says Germany, what comes to your head? Apart from eating bread.
Bread, yes, of course. Eating bread, also not talking to other people when you're in the public transport. For me, that was a very big shock when I came to you, when I was here in that train, trying to talk to people, That was a shock.
That was a shock.
Yeah.
People are into themselves.
Because I was trying to make conversation in the train, asking people, hey, how was your day? The people are just looking at me, or asking for directions. Use Google. That is also another thing. You don't ask for direction, you ask Google. Google knows everything. People assume that, let's say, what I would talk about, Zuppe. Oh my God. Zuppe. I don't like Zuppe.
When you come to German, get ready to know how to eat Zuppe. You are right. For me, the first in 2019, it's the same year I came to Germany, yeah? I came to Germany and then soup was not my thing. Soup. Because it was not in our culture in Uganda. And I come here, there's soup. They bring soup at work, soup. At home, that we making soup. I was like, what is wrong with soup? I really don't want soup. Yeah. So if you are looking to Germany as your second home, learn soup, learn bread, learn not to talk to people.
Yeah. Not to talk to people. Sunday is Ruhe Tag. Don't go screaming, don't go playing music in the road. You will barely meet people on the roads on Sunday. You don't play loud music on Sunday. If you want to get fine, play loud music on Sunday, scream for people. Then you will get fine.
Yeah, you'll be fined for
a large amount of money.
Yeah, for making noise. Sunday is a day for quietness, because people have to be quiet. Oh, well, what else would someone have to take care when they're trying to say, well, I'm getting Germany as my second home? Apart from making a lot of noise, stop making noise on Sundays. Yes, of course, learn to drink beer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You see a small girl holding 6 big beer glasses in 2 hands at this festival, the October festival. My brain was almost like boom. For me, that one glass was already very heavy. you have to learn how to drink beer. Start training now.
Well, I get that. Yeah, there's also something else I know about the culture in German, Bürokratie. Learn to be patient.
Yeah.
Geduld, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a very important thing in German.
Also paperwork. Keep all your papers, keep all your documents, because they will be needed everywhere.
Everywhere. I mean, we are talking about the digitalizing the system. There's a lot of letters. Get yourself to learn to read the language and also be ready to receive these letters and keep them.
Yeah.
Me, I was throwing letters until when I was supposed to get something from the Ausländerbehörde, from the foreign office, and I'd thrown away one letter. I learned that, well, German Bürokratie, letter. And letters have colors. I don't know whether you know the colors of letters. Someone told me, if you receive an orange or yellow letter, is it a yellow letter, to be clear? I don't know, my listeners, but maybe it's the yellow letter. Then things are not well.
You have to go to court. It's a warning, yeah.
It's a warning.
Yeah. I know those ones.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's so many nice things about the German culture. So I would say currently right now for me, I'm happy. I feel home because I'm able to speak the language. I've got to learn some of the culture in German. Yes, that's very important for me on my side. Is there anything you want to share with the dear listeners before we say bye for now?
Well, for me, I would say that also I learned how to live here. You have to learn how to live here to survive. But so it feels home, and I'm glad to be here. I cannot imagine being anywhere else. This is the right place for me, and I love it. Yes. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes, my dear listeners, because of time, we cannot go beyond now because Carol told me she's stopping at around 4:30, and I don't want to take her time. Did you say 4:30?
I said 4.
Well, I have a few 15 minutes to conclude our conversation in the next part. Well, my dear listeners, because of time, I want to say bye for now. It has been me, Otako, your host, and
Carol Chivanuka or Carol J. Smith.
Well, Carol J. Smith, she forgot to say that, but she is Carol J. Smith. Thank you for being with us today. And I would like to say bye for now.
We not only have voices for a podcast, but also faces for YouTube. Don't miss your next episode. Hear my true story.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Music by Edwin Matovo, hosted and produced by Otako. Subscribe to our podcast for more stories and visit us on our website, hearmytruestory.com, for more stories. All the links are listed in the show notes of this podcast.